Now, how many of you have ever seen a kid do this? And what does that mean? Up. And when do they do it? Do they do it when you're feeling the most energized? Or do they do it when you're feeling the most exhausted? I mean, what do you think? Exhausted, right? I knew a little kid who had become a mommy magnet by the time he was 3 years old. Yes, he just stick to her like glue, right? And his poor mother was exhausted. I mean, I know none of your kids do this, right? Okay. And clingy, 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 all the time. Clingy, clingy, right? And she'd give him attention all day long. She was a stay-at-home mom. She took great care of him. He got tons of attention, but like Velcro, clingy, 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 drive her nuts. Couldn't get away from him. She was exhausted. She'd say no to him, and what would happen? He'd turn into a siren. Up, up, up.
Kids with ADHD or autism want to be independent. Try Goalie, the visual scheduler that guides them through routines so you don't have to. Goalie, reinventing routines.
She'd try to walk away, change her location. What would happen? He'd get right in front of her. He'd plant. He'd go completely limp. He'd wrap his arms around her ankles. He'd hold on for dear life. Here she is. She's mopping the floor with a little kid. Well, fortunately, her parents learned about the Uh-Oh song. Yeah. See, they got a hold of our book, Magic for Early Childhood. And they learned about the Uh-Oh song. Now, let's see what happened the next time little Charlie. That was his name, Charlie. With a name like that, you know he's going to be a handful, right? So, the little Charlie, a little blonde-haired kid, the cutest little kid you'd ever seen, little Charlie. Well, the next time he became a mommy magnet, did mommy say no, yell, lecture, threaten? No, she said, uh-oh. Let's all sing it. Uh-oh. And why do you sing uh-oh? To calm yourself down, right? Uh-oh. It's really hard to yell at a kid when you're singing. Uh-oh. And what does that uh-oh say to the kid? Yeah, no sweat for me. You know, possible problem for you, but you know, I am such a great parent. And you are such a great little kid that I'm going to be able to handle this without breaking a sweat. You are just so good. Uh-oh. So she says, uh-oh. Then what does she do? Well, she picks him up, and she's carrying him. Where is she carrying him to? His room. Yes, she's made sure the room is safe. Yes, she's carrying him along. Now, what is her mouth doing as she's walking? Shut. From time to time, she just has to sing, uh-oh. And what is he singing? No! She carries him to his room. She sets him gently on the bed. She smiles at him and says, oh, sweetie, you can come out as soon as you're acting nice. And by the way, do you want the door open or the door shut when you're in here? She turns and walks away. Now, if this kid is worth keeping, what does he do? Follows her. Follows her right out of that room.
For families living with ADHD or autism, preventing meltdowns is everything. Goalie reduces stress by enabling kids to complete routines independently. Goalie, reinventing routines.
Great. Well, how about if I share some responses to this problem? Some techniques, and we can kind of do like a game show kind of format, you know, on the game show. And if you're real excited about the technique, you think it's a great one, you're going to act like you're on a Let's Make a Deal. You know, yeah! Let's hear it. Yeah! Oh, that is good. Now, if you don't like the technique, you're going to be the buzzer. It's going to sound like this. Let's do it. Ooh, that's nice. All right. Okay, option A. Kid comes out of his room. Mom says this. Oh, I don't want to break his spirit, and thank you. Option B. Kid comes out of his room. What does she do? Wham! You get back in. She's smart. She realizes that someday that kid may choose her nursing home. Here's the next option. The kid grabs the doorknob on the inside, she grabs the doorknob on the outside. They do this for a while. You let go of that doorknob. You stop that. Can't you just see a little kid on the other side of the door and his face looks like this? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't like this option that I'm going to tell you about, but it's the one to use because you don't have to use it very often. See, that's the hallmark of a great technique, right? You have to use it very, very rarely, very few times. And that is find a way to latch that door shut, sit right outside that door so the kid's safe. And do not say a word through that door. Yeah, see, I don't necessarily like locking a kid in his room, but who do you want the kid to fight with? I mean, do you want him to fight with you? Or would you rather have him fight with the door? See, a lot of parents try to use a chair. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But what happens too often? The kid starts to crawl out. And here comes the parent. And they're putting the kid back in the chair. And now the kid is getting more attention in time out than they got in time in. So we're going to make sure that room's very, very safe. And we're going to make sure that we're right outside of that door and we're not saying a word, right? And what's the kid going to be doing in the room? Having a major fit. Snot will start running out of their nose. They will start sweating. Their hair will be mashed against their face. They will be bright red. You know, Mom said there was a problem with the technique. I did it. The problem is that the carpet got all wet and soggy. But she said, I actually went and I felt the carpet inside the room and outside of the room. And I decided that the carpet was actually wetter outside of the room than it was inside the room. Because the whole time he was in there, tears were running down my face. I'm thinking, oh. But she started noticing something. The next time she's saying, uh-oh, what did he do?
Kids with ADHD or autism want to be independent. Try Goalie, the visual scheduler that guides them through routines so you don't have to. Goalie, reinventing routines.
His eyes got pretty big, but he still tried it. She had to do it again. She had to do it about 2 or 3 more times. She was real consistent with it. Before too long, he got to the point where when little Charlie heard, uh-oh, what did he do? Stopped right in his tracks. And she got to give him a hug, and she didn't even have to use the technique. Remember I said there are 3 basic techniques for responding to misbehavior, and they all involve change. The first one is change your location. So keep on trucking, right? Second one, change the location of the object, right? The offending object. What's the next one? Change the child's location. Yeah, change the kid's location. Okay. Here's what parents tell us about the uh-oh song. They say at first it's real hard. And the kid has to be carried. They won't even go on their own. And then they put the kid in the room and they have a major, major fit. And they feel like they're doing the wrong thing. It's real hard. The next time the kid misbehaves, they repeat it. Then after 2 or 3 times, what they start noticing is the kid will start going on their own. But then they'll still need to have the door shut. And then maybe the next couple times they do it, the kid will start going on their own. And then pretty soon the kid says, I want the door open. And they stay in on their own. And then, after they've been very, very consistent, we hear this over and over again. When the kid hears, uh-oh, the kid stops in his tracks, and they get to have fun instead of a frenzy.